All right, so this is a suggestion via a donation. Now, the name of the video is How a Baseball Injury Made a Genius. Savant syndrome. Interesting. Let's check it out.
Orlando is a boy from the United States who, like many other boys, enjoys doing sports. He and his friends spent many afternoons playing baseball while chatting and having fun. What he didn't know was that this activity would change his life forever. One afternoon, he was hit in the head with a baseball. After a few seconds, he regained his consciousness and got back up. He didn't tell his parents about the incidents and developed a headache over the next weeks. But eventually the headache stopped and the boy nearly forgot what has happened. Soon, however, he realized that he gained incredible abilities. He could remember the numbers and letters of car licenses very easily, could recite long texts and could remember each detail about individual days. When his family realized that the boy had these new abilities, they went to see a doctor. After inquiring about the accident, the doctor ran some tests and it became clear. Orlando had Savant syndrome. Savant syndrome is a condition that gives people incredible but narrow talents. My name is Gavin Steinig and today we'll talk about Savant syndrome and how seemingly ordinary people suddenly become extraordinary.
Guys, I can give you some rough anecdotal evidence of this here. Guys, do you see this mark on my forehead here? Right here? This is, where's that? Here. It's right here, I think. Right here. Right. I basically, when I was younger, I hit my head on the side of a brick. I was so happy to see my mother. She came back from vacation. I was staying with my grandmother, and I was running, and I tripped and I hit my head on the side of a brick. Blood all in my eyes, etc. That was this basic story, and I think that was pretty much the onset of. I would probably attribute that to the onset of my my Asperger's autism, kind of in a realm not too far from Savant syndrome. I remember kind of everything I encounter. This is how I'm able to like quote things that I've read probably 20 years ago. The history stuff and dates and times and names and other nonsense similar to that type of thing, guys. Right. A lot of people ask me in the comments, like, guys, do you study your reactions before you react to them? No, not at all. I just, remember things. That could be a gift and a curse because I also have a hard time at times forgiving people because I can visually and like audibly and like all of my sense, I can smell what the smells were when you disrespected me. Right? You get what I'm saying here? Like it's too fresh in my mind, even though it happened 30 years ago, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's like a trait or anything, but I have a hard time. I can't. It happened yesterday in my head.
Savant syndrome is a rare condition that gives people special abilities in distinct areas of life. Affected individuals are highly gifted in music, maths, arts, calendar calculating, or mechanical skills. They often play piano by ear with perfect pitch, paint elaborate masterpieces, or know within a second what day January the 11th, 4096 will be. People with Savant syndrome also have a unique memory. There is a man who recited the first 22,000 numbers of pi after reading through them once, and another man who knows over 6,000 books by heart.
Is that Kim Peeks, the guy who reads books with like one eye? Think of a book. One eye reads this page, the other eye reads that page, right? Instant recall, can recall and give you every single detail, but don't ask him questions outside of that. Because again, these type of things give you extremely narrow focus, kind of like how he defined it. It's like what people ask me, you've never heard this song before? No, never. You can ask me questions about things that you think are extremely common, but I probably won't know it because it's not my focus, if that makes any sense.
To understand Savant syndrome better, we will talk about 3 different people who acquired their abilities in different ways.
Let's go.
Through injuries, dementia, or autism spectrum disorder. The boy from the beginning of this video
I think I'm kind of on 2 of those.
Acquired incredible talents after he has been hit by a baseball. But there is one very crucial detail. The left part of his brain has been hit. The brain is a highly complicated organ, and in order to work, different parts need to fulfill certain tasks. While the left hemisphere of the brain more tends to solve analytical tasks, the right hemisphere is more associated with creativity. Of course, in reality it's all a bit more complicated, but let's leave it like that. The accident left damages to Orlando's analytical left hemisphere. As a response, the more creative right hemisphere started to compensate for the weakened left hemisphere. In principle, it works like this. When brain cells have to fulfill certain tasks, they become active together. Each time brain cells are active together, they strengthen their connection, leading to more orchestrated actions. If one brain region is damaged, another brain region might suddenly get signals to become active instead, leading to new connections. And over time, this can completely rewire the brain. The boy probably gained his intuitive talents as his more creative right hemisphere became responsive to tasks which are normally solved by the analytical left hemisphere. But before you go out to get hit by a baseball, don't do it. It's a very rare condition. Otherwise, the cast of checkers should have all become math progenies by now.
Right,
another patient, let's call him George, acquired Savant syndrome after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. Frontotemporal dementia is a condition where especially the front and the sides of the brain become damaged over time. Before his disease, George was a businessman who was not really interested in art. In his 50s, he started to perceive his environment differently. Sometimes sounds or lights felt very intense. His character changed, his language deteriorated, and he became forgetful. But while all that happened, he suddenly painted more and more beautiful pictures. People were so impressed by his works that he won several art contests. Although his brain seemed to be more and more damaged by his dementia, some parts formed new connections, leading to his talent. George's case shows us that even elderly people can suddenly acquire Savant syndrome. Right. But there is one group of people where we find Savant syndrome very frequently. People who suffer from the autism spectrum disorder. In general, autism is characterized by difficulties in managing complex social interactions, hyperactive behavior, narrow interests, and unusual emotional responses.
I will not respond very nicely to someone crying in front of me. I don't get it. I just think it's noise or manipulation. Honestly, I think it's noise. Just to be honest, it's mainly noise. That noise is annoying, and then I think you're instantly trying to manipulate me. Social interactions. I mean, a couple of you guys have encountered me in public. I'm quiet. I don't know what to say. You see me. Hey, you look familiar. Yeah. I don't know what to say, but here, $2 bill. That's what I normally do, bro. Just to be honest, I'm terrible in public. You may think, for example, I'm pretty much sure of myself here because there's no one else around me, if that makes any sense, right? But in public, I'm absolutely a wreck, bro. I'm the quietest person in the room at all times. I am not, if I'm even in that room, because I generally don't want to be in that room, a lot of weird smells, guys, right? A lot of weird smells, a lot of, unfortunate sounds and things like that, guys. Yeah, definitely an Aspie, guys. Absolutely not neurotypical.
It is estimated that over 10% of people with autism spectrum disorder also develop Savant syndrome.
Right.
Will is a man who has been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a condition which belongs to the autism spectrum disorder. As a boy, Will has never been particularly interested in calendars. I mean, yeah, they are not very interesting.
They're boring.
When he was 5, he suddenly developed a unique talent for calculating dates from particular days. Over the next years, he also developed an obsession for drawing. He was so good that his paintings have been shown in numerous exhibitions in the United States and Europe. At the same time, his calendar calculation skills became exceedingly good. He could predict the days of dates between the year 1591 up to several thousand years into the future. If we look into the brain of a person with autism spectrum disorder, we often find fewer connections between different parts of the brain. On the other hand, brain cells form more local connections to each other. It is possible that in Will's case, the lack of these connections led to unusual new connections which are associated with Savant syndrome. But what we additionally have to say is that people with autism spectrum disorder often have obsessive behavior when it comes to their skills and interests.
Guys, I've been a photographer for 2 decades internationally. I can definitely tell you right now that I'm completely obsessed with very specific topics. My wife refuses to talk about anything photography related. She doesn't show me any photos. These type of things, because I will pick apart every single thing I see visually to the point where it'll distress her completely. She absolutely knows better than to ask me anything photography related, camera related. And all types of things like that. Yeah, I'm obsessed. It's a complete obsession with that and Jeeps. Let's get it. And guns. Jeeps, guns, and Yeah, Jeeps, guns, and photography.
This means that they might excessively exercise something they're interested in, for example, drawing. People with autism spectrum disorder also have a natural gift for attention to detail. And all of that combined might then explain why we find Savant syndrome so often in people with autism spectrum disorder. So you might not say, hey, wait a minute, there are
That's Vsauce.
people who acquire Savant syndrome late in life. Can I do that as well?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Is Vsauce an Aspie? Is he Asperger's? Interesting.
Well, a couple of scientists tried to find out whether
That
we can
would make sense
induce
why I like
Savant
him so
syndrome.
much.
Based on the knowledge that the left hemisphere is especially damaged in people with Savant syndrome, they decided to block the left anterior temporal lobe. Again, especially this region is damaged in people with Savant syndrome. We can deactivate this brain region by transcranial magnetic stimulation. Here we use a magnet to apply magnetic pulses to the brain, which influences the activity of brain cells. And
is Elon Musk also part of the community? I wonder. Is he on the spectrum? He probably is. Matter of fact, hold on. Elon Musk most likely probably is on the spectrum, bro.
in this manner, the left anterior temporal lobe can be inactivated for a while.
Cold,
In the study,
emotionless,
patients were then given a classical riddle. The
intelligent.
riddle consists of 9 dots. The goal is to connect all 9 dots using just 4 straight lines. However, you're not allowed to lift your pen up or retract a line. So for example, we can start here and nope. If you want, you can pause the video right now and try the riddle yourself. I just wait here,
What?
yeah.
I wasn't listening. No. Okay, wait. Something about
Alright, the solution to this riddle is to draw outside the dots. Yeah, it's a bit mean. In a small study, none of the participants could solve this riddle. After a magnet has inhibited the left anterior temporal lobe, however, over 40% of participants were able to solve it. In another study, people had to read text upon stimulation. The goal of the participants was to find errors in long paragraphs which are easily missed, such as the duplication of the word there. Ha, gotcha. 2 out of 11 participants showed improvements after the stimulation, and these effects vanished within an hour. Does it mean that we should stick a magnet to our head when we have to write a coursework? Well, of course, no, we are not compasses, it doesn't work like that. It only means that we might have the ability to get Savant syndrome if we inhibit parts of our brain. So we do not fully understand Savant syndrome yet. However, we do know that Savant syndrome is accompanied by changes in the brain where the right hemisphere compensates for the left hemisphere. We also know that we all theoretically have the potential to acquire Savant syndrome. People with autism spectrum disorder are especially prone to develop Savant syndrome due to changes in the brain, their attention for detail, and their special focus. But in the end, Savant syndrome remains enigmatic, but also astonishing. I hope that you liked this video. If so, leave a like and subscribe if you're new here. Someone of you suggested this topic, so what should I cover next? Let me know in the comment section. And with that, I'll see ya.
Alright guys, so listen, within the same topic here, I have another cousin actually who is also Asperger's, but he's much more like how do I explain that? He has it probably more than me. Trying to put it together correctly in a sentence. He draws amazingly. There are definitely social issues. But he's like the opposite kind of, because like I don't like people touching me at all, bro. I don't like shaking hands with people. I don't like don't even brush against me. This is why I don't like being in public, I'd say personally, right? But he himself, he likes hugging people, and for some reason he sees me, he wants to hug me, and I'm like, bro, don't touch me. What's happening here, right? Like don't touch me, bro. It's crazy. It's craziness. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly, guys. All right.